Well, it certainly was a frightening wake-up call for people in the Ewing Place neighborhood. Shattered glass and busted windows. It's what's left of this car right here in Ewing Place. I'm Noah Certion, and coming up on This is Arlington, you'll hear from frustrated residents. President Donald Trump marked Black History Month at the White House last week, making an appearance at a celebratory reception. It comes in the wake of Trump issuing a wide-ranging executive order ending federal government's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Ask any parent who shapes a child's education, and most might point to teachers, but behind every lesson, every textbook, even every iPad, there's a group of people that you might not even see often. Students are fuming about the new rules forced upon study hall. Now, study hall, a class students utilized to complete work, socialize, and really take a break from their already busy schedule, has been turned into a period of silence and isolation. Well, the power of literacy and education can be important for any child, but for some people, they don't have access to books. That's why one group of teens here in Arlington is making sure that every child here in the greater Memphis area has the power of literacy. Right now I'm joined by Peyton and Bryson Cantrell with Book It for Life. Thank you all for coming on the show.
Of course.
And I know a big topic for a lot of people, especially in the Tennessee legislature, for years has been that fourth grade reading retention law, holding third graders back who aren't proficient on certain reading levels. I know you were talking about how passionate you were about that. How has that reading retention law, has that had any impact on how you all's outreach has been with your Book It for Life club?
Yes.
Yeah, because those skills back then, they were like so important, like using the dictionary, not using encyclopedia, all that stuff. I can remember second grade and Miss Tooker, she was like, you better learn how to use that dictionary because you're gonna have to one day. But I know your business, it goes far beyond just literacy. You have a business fair as well. Kind of talk to us about that. What is that all about? Well, we all know the way into someone's heart is with food, and you know what? Me too. So in the spirit of Valentine's Day, Sebastian Oliveros went out and baked a little special something for his loved ones. Now, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, this election was historic. And as we've mentioned, President-elect Trump is now the oldest person elected and the second president to win 2 non-consecutive terms. But if Kamala Harris was elected, she would make history being the first woman elected to the office. And this history was not lost on voters as they casted their ballot. Take a listen to why this election was so important to them. One woman in Arlington and Shelby County government is hoping that more young people of color will serve in these roles. I know, her food is so good. I've had the cookies, I've had the shrimp fried rice, I've had the tacos. It's so good. Like, that is some good food right there.
Anytime anybody wants some good sweets, I always recommend them to Sprinkles of Love for sure.
And the reason I can barely fit the suit is because those cookies, like I just keep eating them and eating them. They're so good. Like,
something about them is just, I don't know, you can taste the difference in quality.
You really can't describe it, but look, if y'all want those cookies, you gotta go follow her for that. Thanks so much, Sanai. Hey, the $20,000 isn't bad. Well, the Sound of Music has returned to AHS. The Arlington Tiger Band is working on this season's show.
Well, Noah, what are your Valentine's Day plans? Because you did just say that you're not that unlucky person.
You know what? You didn't have to clock my tea like that. I was just trying to clarify in that script that I wasn't talking about myself. I was talking about that video, but I'm not doing anything for Valentine's Day. My phone really... Okay now, all right, my phone is still drier than a Popeye's biscuit. But you know, since you're trying to clock my tea, Casey, what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
We're not gonna talk about it. Might be in the same situation.
See, when they go low, I go lower. Cause why are you trying to come for me?
I mean, I gotta throw the shade somewhere else, cause it shouldn't be on me.
Sure.
All right.
Well, my favorite animal has always been a pig. What's always been your favorite animal?
You know, I really don't think, this is gonna sound really cliche, or like, a dog. I don't know, I don't think about that question ever, like my favorite animal. I really don't know.
Well, I love dogs.
And then this is probably the question that a lot of our viewers would want to know. For people like seniors, they've been through 3 principals and there have been changes every single year after that. So with you being new to the school, what are some changes that you would want to implement? You know, normally when you think of administrators and going through that role, they start at the classroom, work their way up, maybe get a spot in the district office, but now you're taking a step back into the school. What made you want to come back to the school level position?
Right. As many people were gearing up to gain an extra hour of sleep from daylight saving time, thieves were able to gain their way into multiple cars in Arlington. Sheriff's deputies say that they received nearly 30 reports of car break-ins in the town. Just around 4 a.m., deputies say that 33-year-old Mardrakus Sugars and a 15-year-old broke into a silver Chevy Malibu off of Dallas Ridge Drive in the Ewing Place subdivision. When the owner came to her car, she was met with shattered glass and broken windows. Now she's without her iPad for college and out of hundreds of dollars. It's a similar story for senior Juliana Palazola. She was staying at a friend's house in a different neighborhood when she too noticed her money was stolen, causing a big inconvenience for her.
It sucked. It was very unfortunate because I worked really hard for that money.
Back here in the Ewing Place subdivision, sheriff's deputies say that another car was broken into near Oilfield Lane and Aubrey Ranch. This man, who did not want to be seen on camera for his safety, was awake when the thieves broke into his car. While his window was smashed, he's thankful things weren't worse.
I was very angry because I was like, man, I'm going to have to spend $300 on this. I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with all this. And then I realized, wait a minute, I'm okay. It was just a window.
And security cameras like these are supposed to keep a watchful eye to the sky as these vehicle break-ins happened under the cover of darkness. However, residents are telling me that understandably their sense of security is now shattered.
I felt my safest at my own house, but now I don't think I feel as safe as I usually did before.
As the sound of leaves rustling across the street ushers in a new season and noise to this once quiet neighborhood, residents hope that now the consequences the suspects are facing will help usher in a change of heart.
Follow what's right, follow what's right in your heart, and just do what's the right thing.
Reporting in Arlington, Noah Certion, this is Arlington.
Well, you know, there are many distractions during the school day, and probably the biggest one for students is using your cell phone. Now, one Republican lawmaker in Tennessee is filing a bill that will ban cell phones during instructional time. I spoke with students here at Arlington, and they said that they are pretty against this bill.
Oh, no, I don't like that bill. That's silly.
A bill filed in the General Assembly by Republican Representatives Rebecca Alexander and Senator John Lundberg would prohibit schools from displaying a phone during instructional time. The bill failed earlier this year. In an Education Committee meeting in March, Representative Alexander acknowledged problems phones play in the classroom.
I don't know about you all, but my cell phone laying on my desk up here constantly lights up when things are going on, and it's a constant distraction for students.
And while students are aware of the distractions phones cause, one person I spoke with said that the benefits outweigh the negatives.
And I think phone can be a helpful thing in the classroom as well. You know, we have calculators and stuff like that, Google. You know, we can get a lot of answers that we couldn't just get from asking a teacher.
Some students, however, think that phones cause too much of a distraction.
Phones are a really big distraction for people, and I think that school should be just school and it shouldn't have any outside distractions.
Media arts classes is a course inundated with technology. One film teacher sees both sides of the argument, but she thinks that the issue isn't just a one-size-fits-all approach.
There are ways to fix the problem where it's not all one answer or another. We empathetically look at everyone's point of view and we find a solution that works for all.
And that bill is expected to be filed in the upcoming legislative session in January. Reporting in Arlington, Noah Certion, this is Arlington. Hundreds of school board members across the state descended in Nashville for the annual Tennessee School Board Association Convention, a chance for district leaders to learn from each other, debate ideas, and determine collective ways to move the state of education forward in Tennessee. For Arlington School Board member and TSBA President Dale Viox, the convention has an even deeper meaning. Yes, networking, learning, it's all a part of the event, but it's also about acknowledging the impact of public education in his own life.
I was well below reading level. She spent her lunch breaks catching me up.
His story is one many can relate to. He grew up poor, struggled in school, lacked access to basic resources at times, but it's public education that gave him not only a leg up, but a way out. With the help and attention from a third-grade teacher, he saw the power of public education firsthand, going on to graduate high school, college, and become a nurse anesthetist, and now a school board member.
I am this now because of public education.
As TSBA president, that was his goal of this year's convention, showing the power and hope public education can give to the next generation of students, like our very own from Arlington who took center stage, the AHS Choir, JROTC,
Ava Kessel singing the national anthem, and Student Council Vice President Abigail Cronell, who got an exclusive look behind the scenes of how TSBA runs.
To highlight the good works and the things that we do in West Tennessee, and in particularly in Arlington, it's such an honor for them to be here and represent our district.
And at this year's convention, there are a lot of things going on. One of those, the delegate assembly that's happening right here in these doors, and the big topic this year, school vouchers.
Cameras aren't allowed inside the assembly where school boards debate the important issues. The delegate assembly is all about debating policy, hearing from others, and taking action as a unified organization to help shape public education in Tennessee. A big one this year, school vouchers, a controversial proposal by Governor Bill Lee that would siphon money from public schools to fund private school tuition. School boards across Tennessee made it clear they're against this plan.
The reality is, if you want to send your children to private school, that's fantastic. We don't believe that public dollars should go to fund private institutions.
Politics has zero place in public education. It should be an apolitical organization. It's all about the students. It doesn't have anything to do with anything politics.
Because we're thinking about students and futures and teachers and educators and thinking about the future of Tennessee where the students are coming, and the things that we do at Delegate Assembly really affect the future for our students.
And that's why not only is this delegate assembly important, but this entire convention, a chance for public education leaders across Tennessee, from Memphis to Johnson City to Knoxville and everywhere in between, to come together and strengthen their voices for all public school students.
So we represent all 141 school districts in our state. So each of our districts have an opportunity to have their local voice heard.
It is the most important institution for the future of this country and the world. Public education can completely change the trajectory of any student's life, and that makes it the most important thing that we do.
Reporting from Nashville, I'm Noah Certion for Arlington Community School. When driving on Interstate 40 around Memphis, it seems you cannot ignore an 18-wheeler hauling goods or cargo to its destination. But this massive 18-wheeler parked outside of Arlington Middle School wasn't hauling cargo. Instead, inside was a look at skilled trade jobs from truck driving to welding. The truck's owner, Be Pro, Be Proud, brings these 18-wheelers to schools around the country. On their website, they coin themselves as, quote, bringing a new generation of pride, progress, and professionals to America's skilled workforce, and that was the goal at today's event.
When they're planning what classes they take in high school and thinking about their future, they have some exposure now to see maybe what would spark their interest, what they'd like to do.
It was a hands-on event for 8th grade students as they got to play hooky from history class. And for one student, exploring these jobs now has him thinking about a future career in one of these industries.
I think the welding interests me, and maybe the truck driving too. It's just, they're hands-on and they're fun.
While another student says that these skilled trade jobs aren't for her, she's glad just to learn about them.
In middle school, we don't understand how, really what people do as a jobs, we don't get that much into detail, but this, really went into detail.
And really, one of the cool things about this event right here is that all the jobs you see behind me are jobs geared towards what's wanted here in the state of Tennessee. And event organizers told me that they hope events like these shows middle schoolers just how important these essential jobs are.
Everybody needs to learn a trade. You can do it yourself and only pay for the materials.
Allison Lewis is a brand tour ambassador for Be Pro, Be Proud. She's gone on multiple tours throughout the volunteer state, and every time she meets with students, she's proud to see them succeed in something new.
I love to see the smile on their face when they figure out they can do some of these things that they've seen other people do when they're out and about, but never thought that they could attain that.
Reporting in Arlington, Noah Certion.
It's been a cool week, and it's cool to see all this here.
This is Arlington. For Chris Betancourt, music is everything.
It's I want to push to be the best I can, but I also want to push to be able to play these super cool pieces.
It's been a long journey for the 2024 Arlington High School graduate. Betancourt got his start in music in the 5th grade when the middle school band toured his elementary school. From then, Chris decided that he loved band. Then it came time for high school. When I sat down with Chris, he admitted that he was pretty hesitant about continuing band in high school.
When I went to high school, I never planned on doing marching band. but I thought I would try it out for freshman year, and that was the year that it was COVID, so nothing was normal. And I was like, well, I might as well stick it out and try a normal marching year, and then I loved it. And so I've just stuck with it ever since.
As the sound of the drums ring through the football stands Friday nights, you might have seen Chris with his euphonium marching in the band. While Chris is just one member that makes up the more than 100-member ensemble, being a part of this group has given him many opportunities. In this year's marching show, Chris got the chance to have dance solos throughout the performance, but when he isn't on the football field, you can see him performing solos during the concert season, something he described as a very intimate experience.
If you were at a concert and I had a solo, I could express my emotions in like a different and more impactful way, I guess. And that's the joy of it. You know, you can communicate to people who don't speak the same language, who don't know anything about your life, but you can express different ideas and emotions to them.
And as Chris said, music really does benefit you. And you might be wondering, how can learning music like this impact me? Well, according to a recent study, it showed that learning music can actually help with math abilities to help you solve problems just like this one. And the good news is that if you're interested in any of the music programs at the high school, you can join right now.
Even if you have a small interest in music, small interest in band, choir, you know, orchestra, all of our music people are great. All of them. Mr. Simpson, Mr. Shermer, and Mr. Chipman, fantastic teachers.
Reporting in Arlington,
it just makes me happy.
Noah Certion, this is Arlington.